that are being made. I do
Mhm.
not need a GoFundMe to buy a tank top. I am too fat to be wearing a tank top, okay? I appreciate that you guys are willing to buy me a tank top. I've been looking into it. I don't think the host should be able to say, this is tank top day, and I have to follow what he's doing, knowing that. And again, I'm going to point out again, I have a hair like a bear, and you don't want to see that kind of hair just like sticking out in weird places. You do not want that.
Out of here?
Yes. By the way, 3XL. If you guys want to, you know what, and it needs to be under a certain amount of money, or it's payola or plugola. I can't do that. So, but yeah, and no advertising. Can't be doing advertising. If you want to send me, maybe a Chiefs tank top, I'll take that. A Ohio State tank top, a Goku tank top. I'm good with that. Anything anime, definitely Nightwing. But no, don't send those to 25 Garlington Road. Do not do that. Greenville, South Carolina, 29615. Do not do that. There we go. I think I've dealt with it and handled it and put it to bed, as they said. Yeah. I do not want you to send that to that address. I do not want that. There we go.
Rashad, what's up, big dog?
What's going on, guys?
How we feeling, brother?
We're here.
Yep.
We're here.
You ready for the Spencer Rattler Rat Daddy show this weekend?
Stop it.
I mean, yeah. Have fun. Got
See,
nothing,
he shook
man.
his head. He shook his head. Rat Daddy is just, that's his dog.
No, Rat Daddy's kind of crazy.
That's not. Come on. Who wants to be called Rat Daddy?
Bunch of haters. Rat Daddy's coming.
Rat Daddy makes it sound like you're poor, and I'm just saying that you live in a place where you might have rats, and maybe my thought process is different than yours. What can I say?
At 8:40 on Thursdays, we take a ride right up the road to Charlotte, North Carolina, and talk to the host of the Panther Nation podcast. If you are a Panther fan, if you just want to know what's going on with the Cats, there is nowhere else to go than the PNP. We want to welcome the Army in, as well as the host of that particular podcast, Rashad Beard, joins us here on the show. What's up, big fella?
What's going on, guys, man? Another week, another L, but Panther Nation is still here, man. PNP, we still here. Shout out to all my PNP Army in the building, in the chat, man. Appreciate y'all, man. We still here.
I just want to participate just one little bit, and then I'll do what I normally do and just go over there and listen to, because I don't want to take Rashad's time. Black helmets are sweet, man.
Positive,
they are.
Right?
I mean, the game may not end up, but the black helmets, those, I like those.
We're gonna look good. That's one thing that's gonna happen this week. I can't say too much about the play on the field, but our appearance is gonna look very good. So I appreciate the black helmets. It's gonna be dope.
When in doubt, have good merch. I mean, that's the rule one of professional wrestling. When in doubt, have good merch. Rashad Beard joining us here on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. It is the black helmets coming out this weekend as the Carolina Panthers try to rebound. Let's go back in time a little bit, Rashad, and talk about this game last week. We talked a lot about the Gamecocks today, and that the fact that the loss to Ole Miss was disappointing, not because of the loss, but because of the fact that it just felt like they took a step back after a couple of steps forward. Did you kind of feel the same way about the Panthers against Chicago on Sunday? Like, is it because to me, the disappointing part was I look at the Cincinnati game. I saw execution, discipline, game plan. Didn't work out the way you wanted to, but it was a consistent game. And then on Sunday, it just kind of felt like the wheels came off a little bit. Yeah,
wheels definitely came off. This game was the first game where I thought Canales got really outcoached. It was very apparent, right? Andy Dalton basically looked like Bryce Young out there. That was a Bryce Young led offense to me. So it didn't look good. Defensively, we're not good. No pass rush. We got some real issues on our defense side of football. We need a pass rush badly. And it's just a bad game across the board, bad game. And of course, it compounds when you when you lose to the team that you basically gave all your draft picks to, for Bryce Young, and Bryce Young's not playing in the game. So there was a lot of nuance in this game, a lot of things to play for. We just didn't show up. We got out coached from snap to snap. Basically, after the second drive we had, or the first drive we had, it was over from that point. And we got out coached, man.
All right, so let's go with this. There's a lot of different things we can attack. Since you brought it up, let's start with that. We talked about it a little bit last week, and it seems like the PMP Army was on board with the theory that you made the switch from BY to Andy Dalton so that Canales could show that the system can work. We just got to have a developed, polished quarterback in there at QB. And I would argue that it did, but now you're saying the very next week, the coaching kind of took a step back as well. Where do you stand on that? Like, was it a bad enough performance that you got a little doubt creeping in, or was it just a, hey, first year head coach, we're going to have a couple of bad performances?
Yeah, I mean, of course, you want to be patient with Canales. I'm not, it's going to take some time. I've seen some things at Canales where I like. He does some good things, but also I question the talent level of this roster. I don't know that we have the talent across the board to execute, especially on the defensive side of the football. Offensively, I just think you have a bad game or two. I'm not going to kill him for that. So it's okay. You know what I mean? I think, the offensive line is one area where we have improved. They looked okay up until the point where Taylor Moton went down and Austin Corbett went down. After that, it got a little shaky. So there are some positives you could pick from this roster and this team, just not enough across the board. Just the talent level's not there. And just especially on the defensive side of football, we got some issues, really, really bad issues on the defensive side.
I think that's kind of been my thing coming in and the reason I'm not hitting the panic button yet, Rashad, is because you stack the injuries on top of expectations, right? Like I think that's one thing that you and I both kind of preached a little bit coming into the season was have realistic expectations so that we can get a real grade at the end of this year of whether or not we met them. I don't know what the expectations are. I know what Vegas's were. You got a win total of 5.5 over under. Yeah. Expectation wise, I think you're kind of right around the spot that we thought we were going to be. But then you stack on the litany of injuries that have been stacking up, right? You talked about Moton. You talked about Corbett. We talked about Shaq Thompson last week. When you got guys dropping like flies and they are the limited amount of talent you had on a limited talent roster, yeah, it's going to hurt a little bit. My question is, am I going to see development of the guys that you believe are the future? Am I going to see a coaching staff that is still coaching through it instead of panicking and running around with their hair on fire? And the answer to me right now is, like kinda, little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, Trevin Wallace had a decent game if you're looking for him to replace Shaq Thompson in the future. There are some guys out there developing. I mean, I know we kind of skipped over it, but Chuba Hubbard, I mean, had a great game. He's playing well. It's a contract year for him. A little frustrating that he only got 13 carries last game. He averaged 7.5 yards per carry. So that there are some positives, man. It's just not coming together as a team. And I think you just tweeted about it, and I've been talking about him at Pound Table for this guy for a long time. But it's good to see guys like Jalen Coker develop. So if you want to take some small wins, there are some small wins of development that you can say, all right, yeah, we're getting there. But overall, it's just not accounting to wins. It's not building up to wins, and that's what's most important. That's what we want to see. And in this game, we didn't even get to see that competitiveness like we saw in the Bengals game. In the Bengals game, I'm okay with that kind of loss. We were in it. This game, it was gone from basically the beginning of the first half. I mean, the first quarter, it was like, all right, we're out of this thing, and it was gone from there.
We're talking to Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast here on the Rob Brown Show, and the Fan Upstate joins us every Thursday at 8:40 to talk Panther football. Let's turn our attention away from Chicago, turn it ahead to an NFC South divisional matchup this weekend. 4:25 kick taking on the Atlanta Falcons at the Bank. I'm intrigued. Falcons beat my Saints. Falcons took the Bucs to overtime, knocked them off. We both came, or at least I came in thinking this is probably your most likely divisional champ. But I will also say, Rashad, they haven't exactly separated themselves from the field like I thought they were going to in this division so far. It's not, I don't think, an unwinnable game. I just think you guys will have to be perfect to win this game, especially with the number of injuries you've got going down. Forget win-loss, set the expectation for this game. What do you want to see out of Carolina rocking the Black Caps?
Man, I don't know. To be honest, man, I'm not a fan of Atlanta, but I got to be a realist here. I don't think this is a winnable game for the Panthers. There's just too many injuries. The offensive line, you got Brady Christensen now starting to center. You've got Yash Nijman, who is going to be taking on right tackle. I have very low expectations for this game. I do want to continue to see some development. What really from the offensive side, I want to see them stick with the run. Right. I want to see us run the football 30 times and take it out of the hands of Andy Dalton, take it out the hands of, because we're successful. We can run the football. I want to see us truly stick to the run like Canales has been saying since the beginning of the season, which he's not done. And so I want to see us run the football more. But at the same time, listen, what we didn't talk about either in the Chicago game was the fact that we saw Bryce Young again. And I question, you put Bryce Young in the game because of the patchwork offensive line. That patchwork offensive line is going to be starting basically in this Atlanta game. So I questioned, and I know he said that Dalton is the starter, but because Dalton is not as mobile as Bryce, are we going to see Bryce again if the pressure picks up and they're not able to protect Andy Dalton? So we may see Bryce Young again. This is just questions that I have, and you kind of opened up Pandora's box when you continue to throw Bryce Young back in there, and now we got questions. So I don't expect us to win this game. I want to see JC step it up and play well. Our secondary, they're okay. I think they can hang with some of the talented wide receivers that the Atlanta Falcons have, but from the pass rush perspective, we just don't have it. I don't know, man. I just have very, very low. You asked for expectations. I have very low expectations going to this game.
There was something you said a minute ago. I'm a poker guy. I'm not good. I just like to play it. And there's something when you're sitting at a table called a tell, right? Like you pick up that a player whenever he's got a good hand, touch his ear, or whatever. Lonzo has a tell that he has, and I don't know if he has it or not, but anytime somebody says something that Lonzo likes or he agrees with, he crosses his hands like this and he kind of sits back a little bit. And when you said run the ball just a second ago, he did that. You go back to BY, and Canales said, hey, we put him in there because the injuries and all that. And we also wanted to give him some time to play, whatever. I don't care if it's Young. I don't care if it's Dalton. I don't care if it's you, Rashad Beard. If you got somebody back there you're trying to protect at QB1, especially with the offensive line dinged up the way it is, I'm going to need Chuba Hubbard to get about 28 carries in this game.
Yeah, I mean, we've been saying that for a while here. Again, it's not like he's getting stuff. He falls forward. I call him, if you watch during the live streams, I call him Mr. 5 yards. He's an automatic 5 yards. Anytime he touches the ball, he's not getting tackled for loss. He is running effectively. He's very good at it. And I can imagine how frustrated he is having to come off the field when I'm cooking. You know what I mean? So I want to see more Chuba Hubbard. And I agree with you, 25 plus rushes in this game, and let's dominate some field position. You know what I mean? Let's dominate time possession. Let's hold the football. Let's keep that talented Atlanta offense off the field, and that's what I hope, man. I just really want to see a competitive game. It's going to be at home. Obviously, I'm going to be there, and I want to see a W, but I just got very, very, very low expectations.
One of the PMP Army in the chat said, I'm calling this weekend Evero's last game. And then immediately responded to by another that said that I don't think you can do anything with the talent on this defense. I'm going to tell you right now, Atlanta has the capability. I haven't done it every game. They got the capable to put a 40 spot up like New Orleans did back in week 1. This is a spot where coaching's got to start to try to cover up for the injuries, to game plan away from the spots that the talent's a little thin. I know we talked about it in the Chicago game. I know you mentioned it a second ago, but defensively against Atlanta, where do you think you stand, or are you just in a world of hurt?
Yeah, I think I don't know, man. I don't know. We signed Carl Lawson, so that's cool. But, aging vet, I don't know what we have in him. There's just no pass rush, and we don't know where Clowney stands, right? We don't know if Clowney's going to play or not. And without Clowney, there was literally no – I mean, Caleb Williams last week was just – I mean, you give him a pillow and a blanket. He was back there really comfortable. You know what I mean? So, I mean, there's no pass rush. Without a pass rush, you're not going to impact. The guys can't cover forever in the secondary. And that's really where Evero kind of hangs his hat is, of course, he doesn't have elite pass rushes in his defense, but your secondary has to be able to hold up for at least, 3 seconds. If they can hold for 3 seconds, you give enough time for at least a mid-tier pass rusher to get to the football, or to get to the quarterback. When your mid-tier pass rushers are not getting to the quarterback within 5 seconds, and Caleb just can just chill back there, it's just we're going to be in a world of hurt. So I don't know, man. And we can't stop the run either. So, Derrick Brown with him, that was a massive loss. So I don't know. I really have no idea. I mean, if Caleb and the Bears can put up almost 40 against us, I can see that, I can see Cousins and them doing some damage. So I have low hopes, low expectations. Go ahead. No, I was going to say with Evero, man, it's hard to. I mean, we weren't very good last year either, to be honest, statistically, but we were able to at least bend but don't break, right? That's what we were last year. Now we're breaking, we're bending and breaking. Okay, it's not good, and so I don't know where Evero is going to go. I don't know if they're going to use him as a scapegoat, fire him at the end of the year. But Salah's available now, so you never know what happens. And they're good buddies with Canales, so you never know what can happen there. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this defense is tough, man.
The interesting thing, I think it's the differences between the quarterbacks last week to this week. Caleb Williams, obviously, a lot more mobile, and not necessarily a guy that's gonna beat you by breaking the defense down. Kirk Cousins, the exact opposite, much more of a statue in the pocket, but a dude that if you're an inch out of position, he's going to knock that pass down. So it's going to be real interesting to see kind of the swing from one style to the other. Rashad Beard hosts the Panther Nation podcast. You can find them on X at Panther Nation PC. More importantly, get to that YouTube page, get subscribed up, hit that notification because Rashad, the boys go live all the damn time. Y'all gonna do some stuff on Sunday?
I will be going to the game, so I do a pregame show with my good buddy Chris from Charlotte Vibe. So that we won't be probably do a post game after if it's depending how it goes. I don't know. I'm getting a little tired, to be honest with you. It's the same thing every week. We just repeat, just replay the post game from last week, and it's probably the same.
I was gonna say I checked in on the post game last week, and I was about this close to calling Rashad like a mental health care specialist there for just a second.
It's tough, man. It's a tough week in, week out. It's tough, man.
Rashad Beard, Panther Nation podcast, joins us every Thursday at 8:30. My man, appreciate you, big dog. We'll talk to you next week.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys.
You got it. Rashad Beard for the Panther Nation podcast. Lonzo with the Sports Flash.
It kind of rhymed. It did. One half of the National League Divisional Series is set. The Mets beat the Phillies last night 4-1 off the back of Francisco Lindor grand slam in the sixth inning. The Mets await the winner of Friday's Game 5 between the Dodgers and Padres. The Dodgers extended the series back to LA with a dominating 8-0 win over San Diego. On the American League side, the Tigers took a 2-1 lead over the Guardians. They're the Guardians with a 3-0 win at home, and the Yankees went up 2-1 in their series with Kansas City after a 3-2 win. Both of those series will resume today with Cleveland versus Detroit at 6:08 and the Yankees at the Royals at 8:08. Tune in this Friday at 7 p.m. as the Burns Rebels head to Gaffney, take on the Indians. It's Burns versus Gaffney right here on your home for Burns Rebels football, exclusively right here on the Fan Upstate.